And I think that he expected, for some reason, that he would be out on bond. And obviously, that hasn't happened for three different.
Sean Combs is kicking off the new year in a place no one ever expected to see him behind bars. For someone who spent decades building a larger-than-life image of success, power, and invincibility, this reality is hitting harder than any of his chart-topping hits. Insiders are revealing that jail life is taking an undeniable toll on the music mogul, and it's not just his freedom that's on the line, his sanity might be slipping too.
Someone who's a hardened criminal who has spent a lot of time in custody. So the fact that he's spending Christmas and New Year's and future holidays in prison is probably finally getting to him.
Diddy's days at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn are a far cry from the lavish lifestyle he's used to. He's reportedly struggling to adapt to the harsh environment, and sources claim he's been using medical visits as an escape route. Rumors suggest he's been making frequent trips to the hospital, hoping to buy himself some time outside of custody, but here's the kicker, it's not working out the way he planned. His pleas for release are falling on deaf ears, and each failed attempt only adds to the mounting frustration.
Sean Combs is not giving up on his fight to be released on bail as he awaits trial on charges. His request for release has been denied twice, so he's hoping the third time will be a charm.
For years, Diddy played the role of a man untouchable living in a world where rules bent to his will and consequences seemed non-existent, but now he's facing the stark reality of being just another inmate subject to the same rigid structure and daily grind as everyone else. The man who once commanded rooms now has to wait in line for basic necessities, and insiders say the psychological strain is starting to show the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy isn't just fighting for his freedom, he's fighting to keep his carefully crafted image intact, but as the days drag on, the cracks are becoming harder to hide. Will he find a way to maintain his composure, or is the weight of his past finally catching up with him? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Diddy is starting 2025 with anything but a bang, as reports suggest the disgraced mogul is having a tough time adjusting to life behind bars. According to insiders, his first holiday season locked up at the MDC in Brooklyn was marked by a meltdown over his circumstances, an alleged outburst that some say culminated in a plea for medical attention, which was denied.
That he's going to be in custody at least until May 2025. I think he's just having a tough time coming to terms with it.
Diddy, officially charged with racketeering, street and coercion last September, has seen his bids for bail repeatedly denied. His defense team initially proposed house arrest at his Miami mansion, then pivoted to a luxury New York apartment. However, the courts have remained unmoved, citing the risk of flight, potential danger to the community, and allegations that he tried to tamper with witnesses while in custody. The most recent setback appears to have pushed Diddy to the edge, with sources claiming he resorted to meditation techniques to calm down despite his attempts at self-care. His visibly altered appearance described him as thinner, grayer, and more haggard, suggesting the weight of his legal battles is catching up with him. A source claimed when he first got there, "This is kind of normal because you're going through this transition and you're depressed, you don't know what's going to happen. He does get a lot of people in trouble. People want to kill him, so what if somebody on the outside knew someone that had a relative that worked in the prison, and they put something in his food a little bit at a time, then he gets poisoned, whatever it is, and it's early checkout for Mr. Puff Daddy, they kill him. That's another reason." Another theory as to why he wasn't eating was he was afraid the food was poisoned or contaminated.
This is someone who's a hardened criminal who has spent a lot of time in custody. So the fact that he's spending Christmas and New Year's and future holidays in prison is probably finally getting to him.
On the day after Christmas, did he allegedly beg guards to be taken to the prison hospital for observation because he thought he was having a breakdown? When the guards refused his request, he began to lose it even more, according to a source close to Diddy. With his high-powered legal team, Diddy thought he'd be out on bail by now. Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him. He eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. The source continued. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it.
The place where he's locked up now getting a lot of attention. The Metropolitan Detention Center, the only federal jail in New York City, is known for violence, poor conditions, and a string of celebrity detainees.
To be honest, this is not the first time Diddy has tried to have his way while in custody. Sean is facing accusations of relentless efforts to corruptly influence witness testimony. Prosecutors claim he used other inmates' phone accounts and made three-way calls to contact unauthorized individuals. A court filing alleges Combs instructed his family to reach out to potential witnesses in his case, as revealed through recorded calls at a hearing. Judge Arun Subramanian ordered prosecutors to destroy copies of material seized from the jail cell while deciding if they can be used at Real. The judge also ruled the materials could not be used at Coles's upcoming bail hearing. The defense argued the notes were illegally seized and contained attorney-client privileged information. Prosecutors countered, saying a filter team reviewed the materials, which may indicate obstruction of justice. Combs, who has pleaded not guilty and denied wrongdoing, has been denied bail since his September 16 arrest in Manhattan. Judges have cited risks of witness tampering. Last week, his lawyers proposed a $50 million bail package with round-the-clock monitoring under house arrest. Attorney Alexandra Shapiro argued that jail conditions, including frequent lockdowns and limited access to resources, hindered Cohen's ability to prepare for trial. Prosecutors opposed bail, stating it poses serious risks of danger and obstruction. They accused him of orchestrating social media posts to influence a potential jury pool. A one-sided example involved a woman witness, too, who allegedly drafted a statement with Combs through multiple texts and calls from the prison prosecutor. It suggested Combs may have paid the witness to do so. After the statement was posted, a video of Coles's children wishing him a happy birthday on November 5 was also cited as part of a public relations strategy to influence the case. Prosecutors alleged Combs monitored audience engagement and discussed its potential impact on jury members. Additional allegations include using other inmates' phone accounts to make calls and directing payments for his access. Prosecutors describe Combs as orchestrating a relentless campaign to contact witnesses, including alleged victims of his abuse. They urged the judge to deny bail, arguing that no set of conditions could mitigate the risks. The defendant has demonstrated an uncanny ability to get others to do his bidding, they wrote, adding there is no reason to believe that private security personnel would be immune. While Combs' lawyers criticized jail conditions, prosecutors dismissed those claims, citing a lawyer's comment that food is probably the roughest part of Combs' adjustment to incarceration, adding to his woes as the case continues to build steam. A key ruling now allows one of Diddy's accusers to remain anonymous, which prosecutors say is crucial to protect the integrity of the trial. Diddy's defense, however, is expected to go on the offensive, aiming to discredit testimonies by highlighting inconsistencies and painting accusers as motivated by fame or money. Typically, when a district judge or magistrate judge considers a bail motion, it operates under a de novo standard. This means the case is reviewed as if for the first time with no precedential impact from prior bail denials. However, when the case goes to appeal, the dynamic shifts significantly. On appeal, the higher court evaluates the lower court's decision under an abuse of discretion standard. This means the appellate court can only overturn the decision if it determines the lower court acted unreasonably or outside the bounds of its discretion. Essentially, the appellate court must give deference to the original ruling, making the odds of reversing a bail denial much lower.
Normally, when a district judge or a magistrate judge hears a bail motion, it's a de novo standard, which means for the first time. That means the previous application, the denials, they don't have any.
Additionally, the situation for the applicant often worsens over time as subsequent developments, such as new evidence or additional allegations, can negatively impact their case. This compounding effect makes it increasingly difficult for bail to be granted on appeal. Diddy Combs is reportedly causing delays in legal proceedings by refusing to leave his jail cell to accept service of multiple lawsuits. The Bad Boy Records founder, currently in custody on ST charges, has been accused of stalling by attorney Tony Busby's co-counsel, according to a filing submitted on December 30. Did his actions lead to postponements in two specific cases? Judges have been urged to reschedule conferences initially set to begin on January 10, moving them to February. Reports indicate that both legal teams have agreed on this adjustment. Among the lawsuits is a case filed by Philip Pines, Diddy's former assistant, accusing him of battery and H&T, according to TMZ. Pines alleges these incidents occurred between January 2019 and September 2021 during his tenure with Diddy. The lawsuit details Pines' responsibilities, including managing and cleaning up after events. Diddy reportedly called Wild King Nights. These gatherings allegedly involve stocking rooms with alcohol, honey packs, baby oil, machines, and illegal D's. Pines claims the parties often lasted for days, leaving him to clean up bodily fluids, D residue wrappers, and blood. He further alleges that Diddy coerced him into having sex with a woman while he watched. Hotel staff were reportedly paid off to ensure the aftermath of these gatherings remained unreported. Diddy and his legal team have denied these allegations in a statement. They said, "No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail in court." Levine also revealed what Christmas is like for Diddy and his fellow inmates at the MDC. He said that they all receive a Christmas or holiday sack that includes goodies like cookies, potato chips, and candy. This goodie bag has become smaller in recent years, however. It's plastic, and it's almost like a big pillow, and over the years it has shrunk. It's a bunch of junk that probably was purchased because it was out of date, because the prison system sells you out of stuff, and they're trying to act like they're doing the inmates a favor, he added. I'm sure they'll give him something, but other than his mediocre holiday bag, there's not much more he's going to get. Another day, another shocking lawsuit against Sean Combs. The iconic producer and rapper has been facing a tidal wave of allegations recently, but this latest case takes things to another level.
The accuser here has identified herself. She has identified herself as LaTroya Grayson.
Grayson has filed a lawsuit claiming that what began as an exciting radio contest prize turned into one of the most horrifying experiences of her life. Grayson alleges she was drugged and left alone to wake up in a hospital with no recollection of how she got there. The lawsuit filed in New York federal court is unlike the many anonymous accusations against Diddy in the past. Grayson is stepping forward publicly, recounting a chilling story that involves a disturbing series of events tied to one of Diddy's infamous white parties, and what's even more alarming is the level of coordination she alleges between Diddy's companies, a radio station, a hotel, and even an airline, all of which she believes played a role in enabling her trauma. Let's start with the radio contest that started it all back in 2006. A station in Oklahoma, Jam's 105.3 FM, ran a promotional giveaway sponsored by Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment, Atlantic Records, and Delta Airlines. The grand prize, a luxury trip for two to New York City, including an exclusive invite to one of Diddy's elite white parties. These parties were legendary, known for their exclusivity, celebrity guests, and extravagant displays of wealth. For Grayson, this sounded like a dream come true.
That she and her sibling entered this contest, and her sibling won. It apparently round-trip airfare for the winner and a guest, brought her along, a hotel room, 2 white parties.
She and her sibling arrived in New York City and were checked into the Roger Smith Hotel ready for an unforgettable experience, but when the time came for the party, things took a dark turn. According to Grayson, they were transported to the venue in a van along with other contest winners, but upon arrival a bizarre selection process unfolded. Contest attendees were judged on their physical appearance and only the chosen ones were allowed inside the event. Grayson's sibling was turned away at the door, but she was allowed inside. This meant that she entered the party completely alone, a vulnerable position that set the stage for the nightmare to come. Inside the party, Grayson recalls an unsettling atmosphere. There was no traditional bar where guests could order their drinks. Instead, pre-made cocktails were being handed out by waitress. After consuming just 2 drinks, Grayson began to feel severely ill and disoriented. She tried to make her way to the restroom, but everything went black. The next thing she remembers is waking up in a hospital bed at St. Vincent's Medical Center. Her shirt was ripped, her underwear was missing, and her money had been stolen. She had no idea how she ended up there or what had happened to her. Hospital staff informed her that she had been found unconscious and brought in for emergency care. The sheer terror of waking up in such a state, combined with a lack of answers, left Grayson traumatized. To make matters worse, she later received a phone call from a woman who warned her not to take any legal action against Diddy. A caller reportedly told her that it would be a waste of time, given his wealth and influence. This intimidation only deepened her fear and confusion, and she decided not to report the incident at the time. Fast forward nearly 2 decades, and Grayson is finally coming forward with her story. She says she now feels safe to speak out, especially with Diddy currently facing federal charges of racketeering.
That she filed this lawsuit now, so many years later, because Sean Combs is currently locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center with no bond.
Grayson's lawsuit isn't just targeting Diddy, it also names Bad Boy Entertainment and Atlantic Records, Delta Airlines and the Roger Smith Hotel as defendants. She argues that all these entities played a role in enabling the events that led to her. This case raises serious questions about accountability and the culture surrounding Diddy's parties. Over the years, these events have been shrouded in whispers of predatory behavior, abuse, and exploitation. Grayson's story adds a weight to these allegations, painting a picture of a party environment that prioritized image and exclusivity over safety and responsibility, while Grayson's decision to come forward is courageous. Her case is not without challenges, because she doesn't have a direct memory of the incident or any specific interaction with Diddy. The defense could argue that her claims lack concrete evidence. However, Grayson has submitted photos, receipts, and hospital records as part of her case, which could strengthen her credibility. And then there's the bigger picture. Grayson's lawsuit is just one of many currently piling up against Diddy, from accusations of abuse by former girlfriends to claims of orchestrating exploitative environments at his parties. The pattern of allegations is difficult to ignore. The sheer volume of these claims raises the question of how many more stories like Grayson's are out there. Diddy's legal team has, as expected, denied the allegations and is likely preparing an aggressive defense. But the timing of this lawsuit couldn't be worse for him, with federal authorities already investigating him on other charges. This new case adds another layer of scrutiny to his public and private life. This case is just beginning to unfold, and it's already making waves. Will this lawsuit finally bring some long-awaited accountability to Diddy, or will it be another instance where celebrity status and wealth shield someone from facing the consequences of their actions? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, LaToya Grayson's bravery in stepping forward could pave the way for more victims to speak out, shining a light on the dark underbelly of an industry that has long been accused of turning a blind eye to abuse. What do you think about these latest allegations, with the trial set for May 2025? All eyes will be on Diddy's next moves. Will he manage to maintain composure as the case against him intensifies, or will this reported holiday meltdown be the first of many cracks in his defense? One thing's for sure, the drama is far from over.